So, welcome. My name is Ajay Naik. Uh, Sorry for the delay here, actually. I'm the co founder of UI5CN, and with me we have Manasvi. Manasvi is co founder of Vibrance app, and he's a web developer for past 7 years. So, welcome, Manasvi. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you, Ajay, for having me here.
So, to give you a brief intro about Manasvi, Manasvi has a lot of experience on web development, and I think their app in Vibrance, they're already going live with a lot of users enrolled there, and he has a lot of experience on AngularJS specifically and Ionic framework. He has some enterprise experience as well with Cisco, and is the alumna of IIT Kharagpur. So welcome. So tell me, Manaspi, what we are going to see within this webinar.
So, we will have a deep look into AngularJS and why it should be used and what can you do from your side to make your AngularJS learning like really efficient, and so that it helps you getting some really good opportunities in life, like getting some really good jobs in companies like Google, Netflix, and others too.
Yes. Yes. So the first question which comes in, why AngularJS is so important here?
So, well, AngularJS is one of the most leading UI frameworks in the current time, and it is being used by a lot of companies like Google, Netflix, YouTube to make their app really faster. And that's the reason AngularJS is being adopted so much in today's world. On top of that, it has got a lot of features which makes the development of any Angular app really fast. And well, you can think of AngularJS as one of the next generation development app. So if you have a good knowledge of AngularJS, you can actually be among the next generation web developers, and that's why having a knowledge of AngularJS is really important if you are into web development.
Yeah. So I think when we talk about the AngularJS here, so like how difficult is it to learn? What are the challenges here to really learn any AngularJS or become a really master on it? Because just knowing in language, writing a small application which is kind of hello world is not really going to make us a job on Google or maybe a job in a company like Netflix or
Hmm.
YouTube where they are using this application. Or if
Yes, that is a very good question, Ajay. So the first thing that comes into my mind if when I if I look back when I started learning AngularJS, the major problems that I faced was the steep learning curve that it has. Now the major reason being it has got a lot of components. It has got directives, controllers, it has got routing. Then there are four kinds of services just inside AngularJS, which kind of makes it like a mammoth task to learn all of them, master all of the features all together, and then produce very good results with it. So it has got a very steep learning curve. That is one of the things, and well, you don't get a lot of resources that teach it in a very efficient manner. Of course, there are very good resources all over the internet, but I have found many of them like it lacks some knowledge, and as you know, if you have a partial knowledge about something, it can be harmful for you. So if you are targeting to work in some big companies, like make a big project or collaborate with a team and make a really big project of your own too, then maybe not learning it in a very good way, or not having a good knowledge, in-depth knowledge about AngularJS can be harmful. You can term it as technical debt.
Yeah, because I
So
think most of the time when you are learning this technology, which can be used to create application, and this application, like we are talking about application which normally consumer use, so
yeah.
scalability comes in. Many people are watching how you are using the application or how the application is built, so they will judge you, and like profit and losses of the company are dependent upon because they represent the name of these big companies. So
Exactly.
if you really don't know the technology that well and you created an application which is not good enough, so no big name actually wants that. So I think that is a major challenge to learn it on the right way.
Yes, exactly. And then it comes on a personal level too. Like if you are aiming for a personal growth in a company, then maybe having a in-depth knowledge would be better for you, because then you will be writing a very good code, efficient one, a clean one. And that would help not only you but the other team members of yours. Say for example, if you are into development, then you work very closely with a testing team, right? So if your code is not that great, then maybe writing the test scripts for them becomes a very cumbersome task. And then again, when you have got a lot of bugs in front of you, finding those and fixing it would require a lot of refactoring if the code is not really great.
Yes, yes. So can you show us some example when we see the Pokemon app? I was playing with your Pokemon app and it was really nice. So can you say look how you actually implement those complex features of Angular and you have used it, and like how someone who is learning Angular nowadays or maybe have little bit expertise or maybe are aware about it, how they should really use or create an application which is good for the enterprise?
Yes, Ajay. So the main reason that I created this Pokemon game app, well, it doesn't really do a lot of things, but the main reason that I created this app was to bring in all the functionalities of AngularJS in one place, and actually use the functionalities that Angular has provided us with in the right places, so that people say that writing a game, the code becomes very dirty. So I just wanted to create a game so that it is interesting for me too, and then I incorporate every feature of AngularJS in the right way to make this app.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's important because those concepts which are not normally you learn while you are learning a new technologies, those are the most essential concept you should be using in enterprise app. And big companies like Google and Netflix here, they're looking for the guys or girls who are really expert on those high niche concepts which are very difficult to learn and learn it in a way that you can implement it easily. So can you? I think I have seen the Pokemon app. Can you explain how like how you're using some of the concept within the Angular JS?
Yes, of course. So you can of course play the game. We have provided the link in the landing page.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So here what we have is the flowchart of the Pokemon game. So what I have done here is, implemented routing like really nicely here, so that the app becomes fast and I take the most out of a single page game app. So the first thing that you see here are sign up and login page. So you can go to either of these, and to switch between those you can use the routing mechanism that AngularJS provides us with. And once you have logged in, you go to the game page, where you have basically three tabs: easy, medium, and hard level. And once you go to each of these tabs, you will be able to play the, these difficulty versions of the game. In the easy one, you just have to select the right answer. For the hard one, you have to actually go ahead and write the right answer. So while developing these portion of the games, I have used the concept of AngularJS, that's directives. Now, you can make it using simple controllers, and you can hook it up with your view, and you can just make it uh, in that easy way too.
Yeah, but then like, is it some advantage to really use directive? Can I make it with a simple controllers because controllers are very easy to use maybe?
Yes, of course. Controllers are very easy to use, and you can, of course, make this complete thing using controllers. But think about when your app grows larger and you have to implement a lot of features into it. So, what directives helps us with is, it kind of helps us to create a template, and we have the complete access to the DOM of that template. Like, even before Angular has compiled that DOM, And of course, after the Angular has compiled the DOM, you have access to both the stages, and you have kind of a lot of control over how you want your DOM to be modified. And
So when this DOM modification operation is happening within the application, so you want to take in control, because when the application used by multiple people, then the efficiency and the performance takes a very
exactly.
important factor. And I think this is like one experience which I have is whenever you are working on a project specifically, and you have been given a task. For example, I'm talking about a company which has a big name, and then when you are working in a project and you are delivering your application with a just by controllers, and something bad happens on a performance level of the application when you go live, then who is to blame? Because I think the name is very essential for the company, so they only hire people who has a real implementation or really working knowledge on the concept like directives, and really
Exactly.
why this is so important, why small factors of performance or efficiency can have a effect.
Exactly, and then you have advantages of using directives too. Like there are many kind of apps you can see in today's world, and one of the genres of apps that is there is e-commerce. And if you look at an e-commerce website, what you'll see is they mostly follow a similar kind of pattern where they have the listing of products in a tile layout, and each of the tiles will have a picture of the product, the price, the name, and maybe a small description about it too. What you would normally do is maybe for 10 products, create 10 different
Tiles.
codes for it.
Okay, yeah.
So using a directive, you can just create a template, and reusing that template becomes really easier when you are having a lots of products, and all of them are something that you can do with just a single line of code.
Yes, yes, definitely. I think even like generic, having a generic behavior to the code is something which is very essential when you're thinking long term. Not really something which is like I do my current version or the code or the features which I have completed, but really thinking in mind of like how the next features is going to be implemented.
Exactly.
So
A good
genericity.
developer always thinks ahead of his time, like maybe I'll need this feature too, that feature too, and you kind of create a space in your code to accommodate all of them without doing extra work. So
Exactly.
that is a good thing, and having a good knowledge about every concept of a language helps you do that.
Yes, yes. So, like, this is the time because most of the people have joined us to see the Pokemon game and really understand by seeing the Pokemon or playing the Pokemon game how well it is looking. So, I think any question you have, you can put it in the section of the Facebook, which is given in below the video, or we will answer all the questions after end of this section of the webinar. So, let's go ahead and play the game. So, now I'm going to switch for your screen so you can really viewers can really see the game and
Yeah.
how it has been played. So there we have it. I think I can see the wonderful game and
Yeah, of
walk
course.
us through like how you build this amazing game, and like I really like the background wallpaper here.
Yeah, because I am a fan of gaming, and Nintendo was one of the first ones
Yeah,
that I played, and it uses this kind of a
UI, yeah,
UI.
maybe, yeah.
So, I actually put it up. So as you can see, I have used routing here. Like if you have a look at the URL, if I go to the sign up page, it just changes to sign up, and well, I think I'll need to refresh the app.
Yeah, I think when I'm hosting the app in the Cloud9, I just need to run it here. Uh, So give me 1 second. I think it's a very common mistake to really have the
Yeah.
server and then just run this application from here, because I think it's hosted in our Cloud9 where most of our codes are being hosted. So basically, when you talk about the application, can you share like what was the things which was going in your mind when you were running the application, or you were thinking about designing this application?
Well, the biggest thing that I wanted to do while making this application was, maybe integrate all the functionalities of AngularJS, because even I am a developer and I learn every day. So actually doing it, kind of gives me a good idea about what I'm doing and how am I doing it. And of course, I explore a lot, so I get a lot of new ideas of implementing these things.
Yes. So I think our Angular application is live. So my server went into hibernation mode and it somehow stopped the application.
Yeah.
So now you can see the wonderful Pokemon application.
So
So
as you can see, as I was talking about earlier, that if you have a look at the URL, it's just changing, and just a part of my screen is getting updated here. So that's the beauty of a single page application, right? So this is the routing that Angular provides us with. Now what I'm just going to do is create a new user, like sign up.
so there's a small animation effect also happening when it navigates.
Yeah, Angular provides us with something called Angular Animate. That is a library that you can use to bring in some really cool animations. So here I have used the fading effect. So let's just give a name, username. Say I like Squirtle a lot. So yeah, I won't tell you the password.
Okay, so but by the way, it seems like because it's just for learning purpose application, you might not have taken care of all the password things. Okay, so you are logged in there.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is the easy level of the game, and this portion that you can see, I have made using directives.
So the middle portion where this mouse is shown and this
Yeah,
nice cool button.
I
here.
have the image and I have the 4 options here. And as you can see, these animation effects, like whenever I hover to one of the options, it goes big. So these are the things that I have used directives for. Now we can reuse this template wherever we like. So we can just go ahead, and this is Ratata. So as you can see, the color changes. Well, this is Charmander, but I'll just show you what happens if you click on a wrong one. So it shows a red colored uh,
Yeah,
option.
yeah. I think it's like from a UX perspective, also you have taken care of some of the aspect. So, like, how difficult was it to make because
Well, since I have been doing it in AngularJS for a long time now, it wasn't too challenging for me. But
can you show us some of the more features which you have built in this application?
yeah, so we can just go to the hard level, and just like in the easy level we had options to select from, we have an input box here. We
Yeah.
can just type in the answer, Spiro, and it says correct.
Okay, you get 5 points.
And exactly, the thing that you saw there, that correct appeared there for a second or so. Well, I accomplished that using directive 2. Now you can do it with normal controllers and HTML too, but using directive, I can actually put that in my DOM tree, remove that from my DOM tree, and it kind of makes the app faster performance wise. Now we can also go to the dashboard, where you can see that we have all these players from, like, a lot of people have played it, and we
Yeah,
can
I
see
think
that
someone is also making a 802, so one we
Yeah.
have a fan follower as well.
Exactly. So what we can do here is edit it. Uh, by edit, I mean I can add them to my friends list, and as you can see, whenever I click on add, a nice animation comes here, and I can just delete them from here too. So well, that's about the edit one, and I also want to show you something of caching that I have used here. Now, caching, as we all know, if you are from a technical background, it is used to make your app faster. Like, not only your app, you find it in processors, you find it in an operating system. Cache is used everywhere to make your app like go really faster or whatever product that you have. So the world data, it can be a very huge data because people from all over the world are playing this. Now I don't want it to be updated every time I visit uh, my user dashboard. Now as you can see, my name is Quirtle here and my score is 5. So if I go back and play some more, say I played and my score became 6, right? So I go back here and I see that it is not being updated because you don't really need to update the world data all the time. Now what you can do is you can just force refresh it,
Yes.
and as you can see, my
I think I
score
can see
got
two things. There
updated.
was a refresh effect, really nice animation, and
Yeah,
I think the caching really saves a lot of time to
exactly.
load that particular page
It saves your
again.
data too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I think that is like performance of the app is very faster. And
exactly.
overall, the app is really nice. It looks very good. I want to play with this app. But if I want to make something like this, then how can I make something like this then?
Well, I have created a course on AngularJS that actually gives you mm, a step-by-step
Learning of
learning
all the
of
steps.
this.
So like you have covered the entire stuff or this app, like, or is it like just the basic of it?
Well, I have covered entirely the AngularJS part of it. I have added some CSS on my own to make it look really good, but since I am teaching AngularJS, I have covered all of these aspects that I have talked about regarding AngularJS.
Yeah, so for example, if someone wants to really get placed with these companies which are big names,
Yeah.
or they want to create some of their own app, will the course be enough for them? Like, what should be the mindset of a person who are just really going or achieving for a big companies?
To be really good at something, the first thing that you need is practice, practice, and practice. So, just to make it really interesting, what I have done is left the medium level for the users who would want to learn this, how to make this app for them. Like they can make their own medium level, and they can post it on our website, and
They
you
can
know
post on GitHub. Can you have you allowed them to post it on the GitHub?
well, if they are really willing to do it, we can add them as a collaborator to the this is a public project, right? So you can obviously contribute to it and make it really nice if you want to. And if we really like some project a lot, we'll just add it here. This medium is all for the viewers that we have, whoever wants to collaborate with us.
Yes, exactly. So can you show us the course which you have made? Because I'm very curious because if I could really make a lot of things, then I would really be happy to make a next Pokemon game.
Yeah.
So
So this is the course that I have created in collaboration with UI5CN, and this is the AngularJS course. And as you can see, we'll just head over to the curriculum. I have covered a lot of things
I think
like
you have started from the basics. If someone is really not from an Angular background or really have not much idea about
yeah,
UI or front
exactly.
end.
What the prerequisite for this course, I would say, would be just a very basic knowledge of HTML and CSS because they are actually required while writing a JavaScript code. But you don't have to be really pro at it. If you have a very basic knowledge of it, you can just go ahead and start with this course, and you'll get to know a lot about it. And the one thing that I have done in this course that you don't find it anywhere is the errors that you get into while development. Now, the thing is, no one tells you that you are going to face this error or that error. They just give you the solution for it. So what I have done is I have intentionally, you know, gotten into errors and then have told them how to fix it so that they don't face these common problems uh, while creating their own app. So as you can see, we have the setting up of environment for all the three
Yeah, all the
platforms.
three platform, yeah, very
Yeah,
nice.
and I have started from the Hello World course, and then I have step by step gone ahead and make the Pokemon app of ours that I just
So you said
Yeah.
about directives, and I think you are giving a lot of importance to directives. So have you covered that topic very detail wise? Because if I want to implement a app like this, or maybe design an e-commerce app with AngularJS, I want to understand directive like very
So
thoroughly.
as you can see, I have uh, a separate section just for directives itself. And then if you go ahead, I have covered directives in depth too.
Yes. So, like, is
So
it enough for me to get the idea of directive, like, in detail, so I can really design complicated application?
yes,
I'm
of
ready
course,
for that.
a good idea about directives would be really necessary if you would want to develop a really smart app.
Yeah. So I think if here, when you say about the testing part of the application or the later part where you're talking about caching, like,
Yeah.
when you showed it, like, have you covered that? Because
Of course, I have covered that one too because, well, I wouldn't leave it without that. The course would be incomplete if I left it out. So since it is used at a very later stage when you want to optimize it, I have kept it towards the end of the course. Uh, but the rest of the things that are really required to build an Angular app, I have covered it all. And one more thing that I have covered every topic twice. One is just to give a basic idea about what the topic is, and the other one is where I have went in depth into the topic.
yeah, I can see really the course is really in details, but when you see the application and I think you were also sharing that someone who has gone through this course, you are making a contest where they will be having a medium level of game
Yeah,
designed from their side, and whoever is the best one will be in
will be
the
featured in this game.
yeah,
Yeah, so we
exactly.
will be hosting the game in a proper server. So whenever we get some inputs from the users who are taking this course, that they have developed the medium level game, which is part of one of the coding assignments here. So they can just give it out in the discussion section, and mm, all of the other users can actually review it, and we will be reviewing it ourselves too, so that like whenever we find something really good, something really innovative, we can actually put it up in our own code.
Yeah, yeah. I think it will be pretty nice to really understand and create the Pokemon app. You have already shared the use case with us, and I think this course you have made. So,
Yeah.
like, how you think like users can really get this course? So, I think we have this course. I think hosted in UF5CN or
Yes.
yeah. So I think we have the course in the UF5CN. So to enroll in the course, I think we have the link given within the I think if they can find it within the homepage, I think they can enroll in the course, right?
Yeah.
so, like, what are the benefit like for to go through this course than like any other course or YouTube videos or something like that?
Well, one of the good reasons to take up this course would be I have actually covered it in the step by step way, the way I had wanted to learn it, so that I would have learned it in a better way, back then, because it took me a lot of time, and it is really a time waste if you actually spend so much time on it, so much time finding all the good resources, clubbing it all together, that when you want to start the app, it gets delayed and your motivation kind of goes down. So just to improvise on it, I have created this app. I have created this course.
I
uh,
think app too. I
yeah.
think.
Yes, I have created this course so that you get all of the uh, resources right in one place, and of course a deep knowledge about it too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think for the viewers, the course is hosted in UI5CN. I think you can see in the homepage. It's a very nice course. So the Pokemon Go app is actually hosted in our Cloud9 ID. So you can go and see in a Cloud9 ID with the URL is given in the video. If you scroll down, there's a button and you can go and see the check the code out also there. So anyone who is interested in learning how we did it and how to really understand Angular. So one point we have really tried to emphasize here is trying to learn the technology on really the right way it should be.
Yes.
And if you have a working knowledge of the details part, like directives and caches, which is essential for any big application to accommodate in, the
Exactly.
big companies are really welcoming only those people who has a working knowledge. I think many people learn it from YouTube and
I
all.
mean, like,
And
not just big companies. Like, if I talk about Vibrance too, while I was taking interviews and all,
Yeah.
I really wanted someone in my team who had a good working knowledge of it and not just, skim over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's very essential. So if you are going to go ahead and go buy the course, I think you can use the coupon. I think don't buy it on full price. So you can use the coupon called Webinar 30.
Yeah.
So it will give you 30% off. I think this is only valid for next 1 hour. I
Next
guess.
1 hour.
Yeah, I think by 11:30, 11. I don't know the time. So, but I think 1 hour from now, from the end of the video, I guess.
Yes.
So what I think you have programmed. So Webinar 30 is actually the coupon code. And
On
there's
top of that,
yeah, Facebook group. I think you're talking. I think.
yes, we have created a Facebook group because the one thing that I have faced a lot is questioning in forums a lot. Like that's a very good thing. Like depending on forums, but I never really get a one-on-one assistance with it. Now, if we have created a FB group for it and kept it private so that whoever enrolls in our course and finds any difficulty regarding it or any difficulty regarding AngularJS at all, they can just post their questions and connect with us directly so that we can provide them with a one-on-one session
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, because most of the people, I think, when they try to build a game of their own version of the game, they will be surely facing difficulties, and I think it's very difficult for like any new things to learn. It takes time. There's a learning
Yes.
curve involved, and I think for Angular it's a little steep. And on those scenarios, I think one-on-one meeting will really, or one-on-one interaction will really help.
Exactly.
Right. So I think if you have any question at this point or any question regarding Angular in general, you can just post it on Facebook and we will be taking on. I think there was one question. So the one question which we have now is what is the limitation of AngularJS? So this is the one question which we have.
So, talking about the limitation of AngularJS. So,
So, for example, there are new frameworks like React.js we have, or maybe like some of the Backbone JS, some of the JavaScript framework if you talk about, or maybe if you see some of the UI made with Python and all. So, what is the like difference, or maybe what is the advantage of using, or what are the disadvantage of Angular so people don't learn Angular and learn React or something a different framework?
well, of course, every language has its own disadvantages, and the one thing that the biggest advantage of AngularJS, that is it has got a lot of features, is its disadvantage too, because you never know how to use the features correctly and which features to use at what point of time. So that is one of the biggest disadvantages that you might face as a developer. Now, other than that, as a framework itself, well,
I think framework itself, when you see the difference between Angular and React.js, I think React is made with virtual DOM concept. So
Yeah.
I think React is made by Facebook, and then this virtual DOM concept, when they kicks in, then I think the app is much more responsive and faster. And when you talk about mobile friendly application, I think React has a React Native as well.
yes, it
So
has got a React Native as
yeah.
well.
So I think these are some of the challenges maybe which Angular may have to cover up. But I think most of the people who are using Angular nowadays are using Angular for making a very nice UI based application, because a lot of the developer community has been already spreading around. Many feature has been already accommodated within the Angular. So even if there are some limitation like mobile, where you have to write little like coding in CSS to make it responsive in the mobile, and the application is not as good as some of the mobile application native. There will be
Yeah.
always a difference between a web app and a native app. So I think going mobile, you have to do a little more effort. So these are some of the limitation, I guess, for an Angular.
Yeah.
So if you have any question regarding queries regarding AngularJS or Pokemon Go app or even our course, you can just mail us at our IDs which have been sent to you in our email. And you can use the coupon webinar 30, which will be valid for next 1 hour, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can find the course on UI5CN homepage as well, the Angular course. And have a happy time coding, I guess.
Yeah.
So it is a time to say bye bye. And if you have any questions, you can just mail us and we will be happy to reply to you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Manasvi, for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay, for having me here.